That's a soda pop from Soda Hughes, and today you're watching the Malak channel and we're opening Karl Kopinski's The Big Kopinski. I kind of wonder if this is like a Big Lebowski reference. The book seems to be very well constructed. I like the binding. It's got a nice red headband that kind of matches the title color. Really cool looking book. This one is, it's huge, well made. It's got a lot of content. So it makes sense that it's a little bit more pricey, but for a long time I didn't really plan on getting this. But this is one of the cases where kind of the personality of the artist won me over. You know, because I was really into Superani artists. I was aware of Karl Kopinski. Saw their work sometimes on Superani websites. At one point I followed them on Instagram, so I saw their work pretty consistently. But one day I was, watching artist interviews. A lot of the time it's really interesting for me to get insights into artist process, their philosophy, their point of view. And every now and then Proko has got some good interviews. And I don't know if you've ever watched Proko. Proko has done just an incredible job of bringing a lot of information and technique to people online, really kind of democratizing a lot of elements of art education. I really think their contribution might be undervalued. And now that they're, getting chances to interview some of these awesome artists, like they did a really good interview with Kim Jung-gi, it's really awesome and I think valuable what Proko is doing. But Proko seems kind of like a goofball sometimes. And he can be a bit stiff, which is part of why it's so funny when he interacts with, maybe Ethan Becker, or in the case of the interview, Karl Kopinski. And this interview made me laugh so many times, like just the contrast between Proko and Kopinski, and some of the jokes that Kopinski was making. Just very, very funny interview. I'd suggest watching it. But yeah, I liked his work, but it hadn't been enough to convince me to get the art book yet. But yeah, I just kind of fell in love with his personality watching the interview. I think he called himself an art whore at one point, because he said he's basically willing to do anything for money. He was talking about how sometimes these weirdos will come to him because he did a lot of Magic the Gathering art, and they'll bring him collector cards, and sometimes he's like, there's this one guy who brought me a Sharpie, and he's like, I'm willing to do nice commissions, do great sketches on a piece of paper, but people want sometimes there's this one person, he said, who would bring him these collector cards and be like, could you just draw a cartoon dick on this monster? Karl Kopinski is like, hey, if I'm here, I'm getting paid, I'll do whatever. So yeah, kind of a funny guy, very talented. It's interesting to hear about how he's kind of interested in World War I and monsters and history, and just a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it was also kind of cool hearing about, one sec, let me make sure it's still recording. But he was also talking about how he started to develop health problems from sitting too much and drawing too much, which I can kind of sympathize with. Got a little too into drawing and design in university, and I think some of the health problems and stuff that I started to deal with probably did come from not taking care of myself and being a bit of a workaholic. And if you do that to yourself, the quality of your work and your ability to work are going to be hurt. So it is important to kind of find that balance in life. And for Karl, I guess, his outlet and the thing that he found that he loved is cycling. And it's really cool to sometimes hear about, the cycling and stuff he's doing. I think he has had the chance to do commissions and meet some of his cycling heroes, which is really cool to see him doing things that make him happy. I think he even got to collaborate with a cool brand, and he made like a I don't know if it's called a jersey. I don't know. Yeah, here's some cycling stuff. He basically made like a design for a cycling jersey sort of thing. Maybe you call it a kit. I don't know. But he also pretty recently got hit by a car. I think he was posting pictures of right after he got hit and at the hospital. He's just kind of a cheeky but like very funny guy. But yeah, I really admire it, and I think he's been back at it, cycling, getting back in shape, and it's admirable and inspiring to see, and his work is admirable and inspiring. Also, a lot of the diversity of kind of the themes of the subjects is really interesting and impressive too. Can definitely see a lot of the strong line, but he does dance closer to realism than, Ms. Jisoo or Kim Jung-gi. Yeah, I think I remember watching other interviews after that because I was so entertained with... I wish I could remember more of it in this moment, but... Yeah, that interview was great, so I watched a few others. I think he'd be a fun artist to meet. I wish him the best. I'm really sorry about the crash. It's awesome he's, like, not letting it stop him, though. So, wish him the best and hope for a speedy and well recovery. It was interesting to hear him speak about how much he feels like he has to develop and learn, and him talking about some of his own weaknesses too in some of the interviews. I consider this stuff so cool, so talented. But it's interesting to hear him talk about Kim Jung-gi and the other Super Oni guys, and talk about, the ways he personally wants to grow. Now we're getting some of that colored work. I wonder if this is for the game. I remember hearing him talk about how he did some paintings for like a board game or a card game or something. Really great stuff. Oh no. The Godfather. Yeah, wow. Honestly, I can't render like this yet. And it's incredible to see someone with the very powerful line work and awesome sketches, but also able to do, you know, paintings like this. I can't do stuff like this yet. Yeah, the contrast, this looks like maybe some kind of watercolor going on. The ability, these two different abilities, you know, that it takes years to be able to do this thing in these different mediums, so hats off. Kind of Winston. I remember seeing this. Was this like the exchange he did with Kim Jong-gi or one of the other artists? I don't remember why I've seen this on Instagram before. But I love it. But yeah. Really awesome end papers. Great book. Great artist. Please check out those interviews. They're great. Look up the Big Kopinski. See if you can find it if you're interested in it. Also like and subscribe. Maybe check out the Patreon link in my description so you can offer a little bit of support to the channel. Get some benefits like voting on what video is uploaded next. Maybe getting your name in the credits. But yeah, check it out. Like, subscribe. Help us keep growing and supporting other artists and sharing really cool things. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys again. Take care.
You're such a sweet